Hey there, brothers and sisters. Vessel of Truth here, Jay from Virginia for the new people. And I just figured I'd do a short video. I've been getting a lot of, I don't know, emails basically, but text messages also, and running into people out whenever I'm out running around in town, asking about, how to handle, the Bellringers, whether it be the Salvation Army, the Shriners, hey, whatever. Because that this time of year, everybody is out on every corner, every store, whatever, trying to capitalize on, the giving of people to support their whatever. I, for one, do not support Salvation Army, Shriners. I just don't do it. And, I've had my fair share of conversations with these bell ringing people or the Shriners or whatever, talking about how, I'm such a bad person or whatever because I refuse to give. Well, no, I'm not. And I'll tell you why. And, this is just me talking to my brothers and sisters here. The word says that it is the Father, Yahuah, that gives us the power to get wealth. And whatever He, enables you to have, if you have a big bank account, little bank account, medium bank account, it doesn't matter. The main point is it's the Father that has enabled you to have what you have. And He expects you to use whatever it is that He allows you to have for Him. And on that note, automatically people are going to say, see, right there, you ought to give the Salvation Army and all that. No. We're also commanded to count the cost. Before we do anything, we're always supposed to look into how the organization works or so on and so forth. And the fact of the matter is, if you actually go and you study, the Salvation Army, the Shriners, whatever, you'll find out that just say, they, out of all of their bell ringing and all that stuff, they come up with, thousands of dollars. Well, out of that, thousands of dollars that they were given freely, the money that comes in will then go in to pay for, the people who, handle the money and their paychecks and so on and so forth. And then, by the time, it gets down to the money that will actually be handed out to help people, say they made thousands of dollars, they might, after it's all said and done, only have a couple $100 left from what they, earned freely. And most of the people, that are in these organizations, they're people that don't need the money. It goes to, buy them another house, another car, whatever. We are commanded by the Father for us personally to go out into the highways and the byways to the people. And it's not hard to find someone or a family that is in need. Take whatever you would have usually given to these organizations and give it to a family that you know 100% that is in need. Don't go like, some of these so-called Christians and go and buy presents for their children and all that, because you're just reinforcing the paganness of the day. We do not want any part of Saturnalia. This is nothing more than an evil pagan holiday that used to be illegal in the United States until, they weaseled their way in and lied to the churches and all that and made them think that it had something to do with Christ. And it's just not true. This is Nimrod's birthday. And if you do a study, you'll find out that just about all of the beast feasts go back to someone's birthday on December 25th. We are to have no part of anything that the heathen does. We are separate. We are different. And yeah, some people, it doesn't matter if you show them the truth written by the hand of Yahuah himself. They're still going to say you're lying. It doesn't matter. You're not going to answer for their sins or their assumptions or their thoughts or their views. We're going to account for ourselves. And, all this spurred, because I was out earlier. And, one of these Bellringers, he really was over the top. He really was trying to make money for, the organization he was with. I don't know if they're supposed to have a quota or something. I don't know. But he was really wanting money. Really, 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 really wanting it. And he basically didn't get any money, but he got a sermon. And, the Father just kept giving me scripture after scripture after scripture to deal with this person. And this person was not a believer, and made that abundantly clear. And, at that point, I just walked away because there was no reason to continue the conversation. It didn't matter anything that I said. He was not hearing it. For some reason, people think that to hurt someone's feelings is, sin, and it isn't. The truth cuts like a two-edged sword, and, the truth is light, just like the word says. The light of the Torah, the law of Yahuah, is the light to our pathway. His righteousness is truth. It's the law. Well, this light of Yahuah, his law, it reveals darkness. So whenever you speak the truth to someone who is living in darkness, there's automatically going to be hurt feelings, or they're going to feel a sense of guilt, and automatically their defenses, their walls will come up. That's why when we present the truth, we always have to speak in the best manner possible, to where it's not as offensive. Now, some truths, I'm sorry, no matter what, that truth is going to cut like a knife, because wrong is wrong and right is right. But for some reason, society today has got to the point to where you can't speak certain things because it's going to hurt their feelings, or it's going to call them out. I want to refer you back to all the red parts in a red-lettered Bible, which are all the sayings and the words of Yeshua the Son. He had no problem calling a spade when it was needed. The Sadducees and Pharisees would come at him publicly and try to, prove whatever it is that he was doing as being wrong. And he would publicly destroy their arguments against him. And then he would proceed and show what he was doing was truth and right before all the masses, which made them look like, foolish people. And it wasn't sin for him to do it then. It's not sin for us to do it now. It's just, for some reason, the doctrine of Yahuah, our Creator, being an all-loving being, wouldn't do anything to hurt someone's feelings nowadays. And that doctrine is lies from the pits of hell. The Spirit of Yahuah will not abide anywhere or upon anyone that is in darkness or is dabbling in darkness or is fascinated with something that's darkness. It's just not going to happen. There is no cohabitation there. You're either a child of the light, that being a child who walks the law of Yahuah and you're one of his children, or you're a child of darkness, because light and darkness cannot be together. The light puts out the darkness. And people are, so guarded about, speaking the truth. I've seen, people that I know for a fact consider themselves a Christian, come up to one of these Bellringers, and the Bellringers calls them out. Hey, don't you want to give to this so-and-so for the kids and this and that? And they put that guilt trip on someone. And automatically, because they know that they're trying to do right, will automatically give to this organization, when truth is that money will probably never reach anyone. And, it's a truth, throwing money at a situation isn't going to fix anything anyway. Even Yeshua said, the sick and homeless will have with us always. It's just part of this life. We're in a fallen world. The fact of the matter is, if we, the children of Yahuah, would do as the Father said, go out into the highways and the byways and care for the widows, the orphans, we would have a lot less people in need. Because, there are some very wealthy people, that if they would open up their pockets, they could end poverty in the whole world. The fact of the matter, that's never going to happen. Money is just a tool. And, we will account for every cent that the Father gave us the power to have. Just like we will account for every idle word that we have ever spoke. I was talking to a person the other day. I know that, whenever you finally get on the right track, your past is washed away. So, those who've bought drugs and so on and so forth with, money, that was in while you were a sinner. And, all those deeds and that were washed away. But nowhere in Scripture do I see where anything we've ever said is removed from being judged. And, that should make us all shudder, because I know when I was not living right, I was a very fluent sailor cusser. You know, I was very mouthy. Uh, and I'm pretty sure that the day will come when we stand for board judgment, we will account for that. You know, I never was one to use the name of Yahuah in vain, you know, to give him a last name. Even as a sinner, I always refrained from that. I don't know why. I don't know if, you know, it was just something that the Father put in me. I don't know. I mean, I was just never one to use GD. Anything and everything else, yep, I used to say it fluently. Even, you know, today, you know, get mad and angry about something, you know, I have my days I'll slip. Yeah, we're all not perfect. But, you know, the more I'm pushing into the Father, the more I see that, you know, these words don't even come up in my mind. And it's just all part of, you know, growing in Him. But, you know, this time of year, for some reason, the enemy really does do what he can to prey upon those who claim to be a child of Yahuah. And there's, you know, just straight up, there are millions upon millions upon millions of dollars that is collected. And anyone that's got an IQ of a flea should be able to figure out and know for certain that the millions upon millions of dollars that's collected never gets to where it's supposed to go. Just an example, look at all the money the Clintons collected for that tragedy that happened in Haiti. Look what happened. They embezzled all of that money. It never reached the Haitian people to do nothing. People gave to that, thinking, hey, they're helping these people. The fact of the matter is, you know, those who gave to these things, they will account for it because they didn't count the cause. You know, we can't allow the enemy to use certain situations to pull on our strings to give, especially when the organization that, you know, is asking for the money is an evil organization. And I mean, the enemy knows how to come at people. And, you know, for some people, you know, giving $5 here or $1 here, it's just no biggie. But there are a lot of people that's just like the widow who gave her mite that we read of in the Gospels. Christ was watching these people come and they was giving out of their wealth. But the widow come up and give all that she had. Then you hear that what Christ said, you know, he said, verily I tell you that this lady has give all that she has. You all have give out of your abundance, but she has give out of her need. And there are still some people that do that, will give out of their need, but they're giving into bad ground. Whereas if the same widow would have just give nowadays to someone, a family that maybe is in more need than she is, the Father will take and bless that. See, this is the truth that has been corrupted by these prosperity gospel people. You know, they say, you can't outgive God. You know, they make him out to be a genie in a bottle that if you need $100, go and give somebody $5 and pray about it, and he'll meet your need. Well, no, it doesn't work that way. Nowhere does it say in the Bible that the Father will give you what you want. He will supply your need. You know, it says, I have never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging for bread. And then the scriptures takes it further in the New Testament, where it tells you that he knows what we have need of: clothes, house, shelter, all this stuff. He knows what we need. And he will provide for his own. You know, there are stories in the Old Testament where he fed his own with the birds. I don't know why I'm coming down this road, but I mean, the Father isn't going to make anyone a millionaire. And I watched this happen the other day too. I didn't plan on saying this, but I watched an individual who I know goes to church and everything, and I watched them go to the counter and buy, I don't know, it was like $30 worth of lottery tickets. And when they turned around and saw me, they're like, I know that the Father is going to let me hit it big so I can help a bunch of people. And I just looked at them. And they said, don't you think that would be a great thing? I said, well, I can tell you this. It will never happen, because to play the lottery is sin. You know, gambling is a sin. And the Father is not going to let you hit it big, because you could have took the $30 that you just used to buy lottery tickets and help some family. You're not giving with what you have right now. You're showing that you wouldn't give if you had more. Needless to say, the conversation was quick, and it offended them. But the truth is the truth. If you can't even give out of what you have right now, you're not going to give if he gives you a buttload of money. Your greed is just going to grow to whatever level of money that you have. You know, we need to be the people of Yahuah that, you know, whatever we have, if we see someone in need, let them have it. If it's within your need. If it's within your ability to meet that need. But it's almost like people no longer see things the way the Father says we should see them. You know, we're to serve the Father in spirit and in truth. There are a lot of people that don't understand things about the Father because they're not spiritually alive. They say that they are, but they do not understand, because the things, as in the principles of the Father, they are spiritually discerned. They are foolishness to the carnal mind. So if you're carnally minded, when you look at a situation, you really don't see it the way the Father sees it, because you're spiritually dead. Whereas someone who has the Spirit of God in them, when they see the situation that you are also looking at, they see the spiritual principle of that situation. This is one of the biggest difference between people. You have those who are spiritually awake and those who are spiritually dead, saying that they are awake. It's those who are truly spiritually awake that are the true worshipers and children of Yahuah. You know, there are easier ways of pointing it out. You know, the word tells us that we are not to be hearers only of the word, but we are to be doers. Well, I know a lot of people that they know the word. They can quote probably more scriptures than I do, you know. Got them all memorized and all that, but they don't do anything with it. I mean, yeah, they look all neat and mighty and smart if a biblical conversation comes up, but they're not doing anything with it. They can repeat all the things that, you know, the Father did through the Son while he walked this earth, how he laid hands on this one and how he spit in this one's eye and how he did this and how he did that. But they don't have the indwelling of the Spirit to put themselves out there to do those things because they don't believe that they could do what Christ did. But yet the Word actually tells us the works that Christ did shall we do also, and greater works thereof, because he goes to the Father. This definitely has took a twist. I didn't plan on coming here in this conversation. I just wanted to cover, you know, the Bellringers, but so be it. Don't allow the enemy to push your buttons or to make you think that you're not able. And don't allow him to coax you into doing something that's wrong anyway. Just by my experience, just about all of these big organizations that send out people, you know, begging for money, it never reaches the people. Because the Father said the correct way of doing it is for the people to go out and give to the people. See it with your own eyes and fix the situation. Be the change in their life if you're able. You know, this isn't rocket science. You know, I don't know of anything that I have ever said in one of my videos that is hard or rough to really understand. There are a few things that I've said that they're not nice to understand, like my last video about how we're to be whenever they come to round us up. Yeah, that's a hard truth, but it's only hard if you're invested in this world. I don't have anything in this world that keeps me here. I mean, yeah, there's some things in it I like and I love. I love the mountains and I love the views, but when it comes to stuff, nah, there's nothing here for me. So I can literally say I know for me to die is gain. And that's something the enemy will never be able to take away from me because I'm not invested in anything in this world. It's not like I'm a millionaire or a hundredaire, if that's even a thing. It might be a $5 heir or something, you know. I don't know. A penny heir. And, you know, that's fine. I'm a perfect example of, you know, the Father taking care of his own. Yeah, I don't have what other people have, but, you know, I don't care. I'm not comparing myself to others. And neither should you. We should compare ourselves to Christ. And you know what? Nowhere do I read in the scriptures that he even had a place of his own. I have a house. He walked everywhere. At times I'm blessed and I have a vehicle. I actually have a truck. It's just not running right now. It's just taking up space. He walked everywhere. And, you're going to have these people that's going to chime in and going to say, well, the times have changed. Yep. That they have. And not for the good either. Times have changed. But the Father has not. See, that's one of the excuses the fat cat preacher-teacher people use in the four-wall churches, is that we tithe. We're still supposed to tithe because, the times, they have changed. And we have to have this tithe money coming in to keep this building going. We have to have our parking lot and our good, stained glass windows and, all the bills paid. Bullcrap. It's a lie. Nowhere in the Word do you ever see the tithe being for a four-wall entity. It was for the Levites because they had no inheritance. Therefore, they got the portion that was the tithe. That which did not go to the Father in sacrifice, they had. But we no longer have a Levitical priesthood. Therefore, we no longer have a tithe. And these four-wall indoctrination centers with these indoctrinators who went to seminary to learn how to read the Bible thrive on that money because, look it up, the church has become a multi-billion-dollar business. I've heard people say, we're to be soul-saving stations. That just shows your ignorance and your stupidity. There is no such thing as a soul-saving station. My church is a soul-saving station. No, it ain't. For that to even be true, the word of Yahuah would have to change. It didn't say go out and bring people in from the highways and byways to your building so it could be a soul-saving station. It said, go out. You personally, go out into the highways and the byways. Yep, where the sinner folk be. You use wisdom in it because, if you're a recovering drunk, don't be going to bars. Use wisdom. But, we're supposed to go where the sinner folk be and be the light in their darkness. Oh, but nowadays you get killed. Yeah, how about that? They won't like that. They'll be hateful. They might attack you. Yeah, that's about right. When you start doing as the word says, you'll find out people really don't like you. It doesn't take much to suffer persecution whenever you actually start going to these places of sin and being a light. You'll find out, they'll call cops on you, and the cops will take you to jail. And I don't understand how people can be so attached to these four-wall indoctrination centers, because I have yet to come across any four-wall institution that if a person that actually come to themselves, like the prodigal son, covered in pig manure and all that, if they went into one of these so-called churches, they would have him removed. And that's sad. And, you have all these people, I'm one of these ones, like whenever I'm out, if I see someone walking, I will pick them up. Or at least ask and say, hey, do you need a ride? Use wisdom with that, yes. But you know what? I have actually given a person a ride before. And just, talk to them as you're going to the destination. And then drop them off, and I head back down the road to look back and not even see that person. Was it just me? Was it gone before I could look back? I don't know. But I am a firm believer that the word is true, that we do, at times, entertain angels unaware. We have always, in all that we do, every single day of our life, we have got to keep the mind of Yahuah. We should continually, every minute of our life, to the best ability that we have, be about doing the will of the Father. It's keeping the law and doing the things that Yeshua did that shows that we love the Father. And nothing, I've went over this before, nothing that he asks of us is too hard. But yet, you have all these people trying to say, they're going through their little religious activities, and they say that shows that they love the Father. Yet nothing that they do ever changes anything. There are people in Africa and other countries, for them to stand up and make a public announcement, because they go and they'll be baptized publicly, puts a target on their back. And from that day forward that they were baptized into the faith, never even ever being anywhere to hear a sermon. They just go out and they're baptized in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And they go forth. And from that time forward, they walk according to the way Christ walked. And they are persecuted. They suffer. They're beaten. And they are killed daily. Look it up. They are doing it right. We're talking about people living in total squander. They have nothing. They have a mud hut. And they are way more giving and happy than anyone you've ever probably seen in the United States. Because they are fully given to the Father. Everything that they do is for the Father. Everything they say. They may not have anything to eat, and another person who basically has enough just for themselves, they will split that however many ways possible. We're supposed to give to others, put them before ourselves. Last thing is, rebuke the spirit that's going on in this time. Everybody talks about, having that Xmas spirit. Well, this Xmas spirit is not a spirit coming from the Father. There is a spirit, but it isn't coming from the Father. People that I have run into just having to go to the store are the most uptight, hateful, anger, bitter people. And if you happen to actually have a conversation with them, you'll hear them say themselves, I'm out doing this or that or getting stuff for a meal, and how they're just going on about how much they hate it, and but yet they're doing it. And I can't even say how many people I've come across, and they all say the same thing. They're doing this, that, or the other, and how much they hate it and how they feel so bad and blah, blah, blah. The very fact that there's a dark spirit upon this whole season should be enough to tell people that this is not something that glorifies the Father. And, it all goes back to walking as Christ walked. And even further than that, a lot of these things goes back to common sense. And then again, as we have learned, common sense definitely isn't common anymore. "42 minutes in, and I only wanted to talk about the Bellringers." Well, I'm going to leave it at that, because I could go on and on and on about more stuff about this season that we're in. Just all I ask is that, do your best to walk perpetually in the mind of Christ. Do your best to do as He would always do. Because if everything that you're doing lines up with what He would do, you're doing good. So, as always, keep seeking the face of the Father and working that relationship. Make sure He knows you and you know Him. Talking back and forth. Pray for your brothers and sisters, and pray for the world. The evil that is coming upon it needs to be countered. Do your best to help as many people as possible, and do your best to spread the gospel of the kingdom far and wide. As always, until next time, I love you, and Yahuwah bless you and keep you always.